Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour, Prime Minister Modi to launch Gyan Bharatam portal at International Manuscript Conference in the national capital today, revitalizing India's unparalleled manuscript wealth. US State Secretary Marco Rubio backs Trump's ambassador pick Sergio Gore's remarks, calling India a strategic partner. India says India is one of top relationships. NATO allies bolster Poland air defense after drone raid blamed on Russia. India's Minister Jaishankar speaks to Polish counterpart, favors an early end to hostilities, while Trump says the action could be a mistake. Qatar Prime Minister accuses Israel of trying to derail Gaza peace efforts. Expected to meet US President Trump, UNHRC condemns the recent Doha strikes. Former Brazilian President Bolsonaro found guilty in coup plot, sentenced 27 years and 3 months in prison. With an aim to revitalize India's unparalleled manuscript wealth, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch the Gyan Bharatam portal, a dedicated digital platform to accelerate manuscript digitization, preservation and public access, and address the gathering on the occasion. Prime Minister to participate in the international conference on Gyan Bharatam at around 4:30 PM IST in the national capital. The Ministry of Culture's Gyan Bharatam is a landmark national initiative dedicated to preserving, digitizing and disseminating India's manuscript heritage. Marking the formal launch of Gyan Bharatam mission, the ministry is organizing the first ever Gyan Bharatam International Conference on reclaiming India's knowledge legacy through manuscript heritage. Gyan Bharatam is part of visionary national movement dedicated to safeguarding and disseminating India's vast manuscript wealth. It will serve both as a tribute to the nation's civilizational roots and as a forward-looking step towards Prime Minister's vision of a Vikasit Bharat by 2047, where India emerges as a true Vishwaguru. US envoy designate to India Sergio Gore has said that Washington and New Delhi are on track to resolve hiccups in their relationship. Speaking at his Senate confirmation hearing on Thursday, Gore underlined that India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond.
India is a strategic partner whose trajectory will shape the region and beyond. Under President Donald Trump's strong leadership, I'm committed to advancing America's interest in this important partnership. India's geographic position, economic growth, and military capabilities make it a cornerstone of regional stability and a critical part of promoting prosperity and advancing the security interests that our nations share. As Secretary Rubio noted, India is one of the most important relationships our nation has in the world. If confirmed as ambassador, I will work to deliver on the President's agenda and advance U.S. interests by increasing our defense cooperation, ensuring fair and beneficial trade, deepening energy security, and furthering technology.
He emphasized that India's geographic position, economic growth and military capabilities make it a cornerstone for regional stability and a crucial part of promoting shared prosperity and security interests.
We might have our moment of hiccups right now. We are on the track of resolving that. Our relationship with the Indian government, with the people of India, extends many more decades.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio too stressed that India is one of the top relationships the US has in the world today. Supporting Sergio Gore at his confirmation hearing, Rubio said Washington is in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with Delhi.
India is, I would say, one of the top relationships the United States has in the world today in terms of the future of what the world's going to look like. The 21st century, the story is going to be written in the Indo-Pacific. In fact, it's so important we've actually changed the name of the combatant command to the Indo-Pacific. India is at the core of that. And we are in a period of extraordinary transition in that relationship with India. We've got some really important issues coming up that we need to work with them on and work through.
Indian diplomat Kshitij Tyagi delivered a sharp response to Switzerland at a UN Human Rights Council meeting, calling its comments on India surprising, shallow and ill-informed. The response came a day after Switzerland called on India to protect the minorities and uphold freedom of speech and expression.
We would also like to respond to the surprising, shallow and ill-informed remarks made by Switzerland, a close friend and partner. As it holds the UNHRC presidency, it is all the more important for Switzerland to avoid wasting the Council's time with narratives that are blatantly false and do not do justice to the reality of India. Instead, it should focus on its own challenges such as racism, systematic discrimination and xenophobia. As the world's largest, most diverse and vibrant democracy, with a civilizational embrace of pluralism, India remains ready to help Switzerland address these concerns.
India's Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy, Prahlad Joshi, on Thursday launched a ₹100 crore call for proposals to support startups working on green hydrogen innovation. The announcement was made at the first annual Green Hydrogen R&D conference organized by the Ministry of New Delhi and Renewable Energy in the national capital, New Delhi, where 25 startups are showcasing their innovations. The scheme will provide funding of up to 5 crore rupees per project for pilot projects in areas such as hydrogen production, storage, transport and utilization technologies. Addressing the event, Union Minister Prahlad Joshi said that the initiative is aimed at turning research into practical solutions that can power industries, clean cities and generate lakhs of new jobs across the country. Prime Minister of Mauritius, Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam, who is on India visit till September 16, will offer prayers at Baba Vishwanath Temple in Varanasi. On Thursday, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosted his Mauritius counterpart Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam in his parliamentary constituency of Varanasi. After the bilateral talks, 7 MOUs were signed between the two nations in a meeting between PM Modi and his Mauritius counterpart Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam in Varanasi. During the press statement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a special economic package for Mauritius and underscored that India and the island nation are not just partners but a family. Ramgoolam praised India's timely support for the improvement of quality of life in the island nation. India and Mauritius share a close and special relationship rooted in shared historical, cultural and people-to-people ties. As India's key maritime neighbor in the Indian Ocean region, Mauritius holds a special place in India's vision Mahasagar. And of course, the Neighborhood First policy and is a key partner in the Global South. Later in the day, Prime Minister of Mauritius, Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam, to visit Ayodhya, the holy city in the northern part of India. And also, Prime Minister Modi, in fact, all right, let's cut live across to Vice President-elect C.P. Radhakrishnan taking oath at Rashtrapati Bhavan. President Draupadi Murmu administering the oath of office to the Vice President-elect. And these are the visuals we are getting for you from Rashtrapati Bhavan. These are the live visuals for all those viewers who have just tuned in to DD India. These are the live visuals. Vice President-elect C.P. Radhakrishnan is taking oath at Rashtrapati Bhavan, and President Draupadi Murmu will administer the oath of office to the Vice President-elect.
मिलनाट के आज पद की शपथ लेंगे। आंध्र प्रदेश से भारत को अब तक 2 उपराष्ट्रपति मिले हैं, डॉक्टर जाकिर हुसैन और एम वेंकैया नायडू। राजस्थान से भैरव सिंह शेखावत और जगदीप धनखड़। मध्य प्रदेश से शंकर दयाल शर्मा और मोहम्मद हिदायतुल्ला। उत्तर प्रदेश से गोपाल स्वरूप पाठक। ओडिशा से बीबी गिरी। पश्चिम बंगाल से मोहम्मद हामिद अंसारी। केरल से के.आर. नारायणन। कर्नाटक से बी.डी. जट्टी। पंजाब से के कृष्णकांत। 9 सितंबर को उपराष्ट्रपति पद के चुनाव में एनडीए के उम्मीदवार के तौर पर श्री राधाकृष्णन ने 452 मत हासिल कर जीत हासिल की थी, और जबकि इनके विपक्षी उम्मीदवार को 300 मत हासिल हुए थे। यहां गणतंत्र मंडप में इंतजार है भारत की राष्ट्रपति द्रौपदी मुर्मू का, जो नवनिर्वाचित उपराष्ट्रपति को पद की शपथ दिलाएंगी। ये काफी खास अवसर है।
आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति महोदय, यदि आदेश हो तो निर्वाचन आयोग से प्राप्त उपराष्ट्रपति के निर्वाचन का प्रमाणन पढ़ा जाए। यतः भारत के संविधान के अनुच्छेद 324 द्वारा भारत के उपराष्ट्रपति के पद के निर्वाचन का अधीक्षण, निर्देशन और नियंत्रण भारत निर्वाचन आयोग में निहित है, और यतः श्री जगदीप धनखड़ द्वारा 2025 के जुलाई मास के 21वें दिन तदनुसार शक संवत के वर्ष 1947 के आषाढ़ मास के तीसरे दिन त्यागपत्र देने के कारण भारत के उपराष्ट्रपति का पद रिक्त हो गया है, और यतः भारत के उपराष्ट्रपति के पद को भरने के लिए संविधान तथा राष्ट्रपतीय और उपराष्ट्रपतीय निर्वाचन अधिनियम 1952 के उपबंधों और तदधीन बनाए गए नियमों और आदेशों के अनुसार निर्वाचन करा लिया गया है तथा परिणाम घोषित कर दिया गया है। अब इसलिए भारत निर्वाचन आयोग एतद द्वारा प्रमाणित करता है कि श्री सीपी राधाकृष्णन वर्ष 2025 के सितंबर मास के 9वें दिन तदनुसार शक संवत के वर्ष 1947 के भाद्रपद मास के 18वें दिन भारत के उपराष्ट्रपति पद के लिए सम्यक रूप से निर्वाचित हो गए हैं। भारत गणराज्य के 76वें वर्ष में हमारे हस्ताक्षर और भारत निर्वाचन आयोग की मोहर से वर्ष 2025 के सितंबर मास के 9वें दिन तदनुसार शक संवत के वर्ष 1947 के भाद्रपद मास के 18वें दिन प्रदत्त किया गया।
I, Chandraviram Ponnusamy Radhakrishnan,
do swear in the name of God
do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of India
to the Constitution of India
as by law established,
as by law established,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duty
and that I will faithfully discharge the duty
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति महोदय, आपका आदेश हो तो आज के समारोह की कार्रवाई समाप्त की जाए।
Well, the Vice President has taken oath marking the start of his term in office. When we talk about the polls, Mr. Radhakrishnan secured 452 first preferential votes against the joint opposition candidate, Justice B. Sudarshan Reddy, who got 300 votes, and another 15 votes were found to be invalid and 14 MPs abstained. We've been joined by our correspondent Dibyendu Mondal on the phone line. Hi Dibyendu, a very good morning to you. 15th Vice President of India, C.P. Radhakrishnan, has taken oath. You are thoroughly covering this. What latest are you getting for us, Dibyendu?
Well, you know, it is like it was, of course, as I had also said when he had won, that he will be taking oath by this week itself, and you know, like that is what has happened, and he has taken oath today, and he will be assuming the charge of the Vice President of India. And remember, Siddharth, the Vice President of so the ex-officio chairman of the upper house, which is the Rajya Sabha. He will be going to the parliament later this afternoon. What we learned from our sources also is that he has called a meeting of all the floor leaders of the Rajya Sabha this evening or later this afternoon perhaps. And he will be meeting with all the floor leaders of the Rajya Sabha as soon as he assumes charge of both the Vice President and also the ex-officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So therefore, we'll see, you know, as soon as he takes charge, the action will begin. He will be meeting with the senior officials of the Rajya Sabha as well once he takes charge. And remember, like C.P. Radhakrishnan has been a former governor now of Maharashtra. He has been associated with his in the political life for a very, very long time. He has been with the RSS since he was 16 years old. So therefore, he understands the political scenario. He understands how politics functions. So therefore, he will be able to function the Rajya Sabha smoothly. Like, of course, the winter session of Parliament will be the first session that he will be chairing after assuming charge as the Vice President of India. So therefore, we'll see that today evening, in fact, as I said earlier as well, that there could be a floor leaders meeting is what we pick up from our sources of the Rajya Sabha this evening. Yes, Siddharth.
Definitely. Dibendu and everyone congratulated him as well when he won the elections. Dibendu, for our viewers, can you just tell us a bit about the role and responsibilities of Vice President of India?
Well, Siddharth, of course, as you were saying that he had received congratulatory messages from across the political spectrum. And also the fact that, cutting across political party lines, and we have seen during the elections of the Vice President as well, that there has been votes that he has secured from the opposition rank as well because of the cross-voting. But as you asked me about, the roles and responsibilities of the Vice President is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The primary responsibility of the Vice President are two. One is, being the ex officio chairman, which is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, to conduct the smooth business and functioning of the Rajya Sabha. And number two is if and when a president is removed or the president is no more, the Vice President takes charge as the President of India. And while he takes charge as the President of India, he doesn't remain the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So these are the two primary roles of the Vice President. And the Vice President, as per the Constitution, only and perks and emoluments not as the Vice President of India, but as the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So as per Constitution, the Vice President doesn't get any salary. So therefore, all the roles and responsibilities of the Vice President is primarily to conduct smooth business and functioning of the Rajya Sabha, of course in coordination with the lower house, which is the Lok Sabha. Therefore, these are the broad responsibilities of the Vice President of India.
Dibendu, what can we expect in terms of his working style?
Well, see, C.P. Radhakrishnan is known to be a man who is one who takes everybody together. So we can see a much more coordination I had been speaking to a couple of people who have worked with him in Maharashtra when he was the governor. So what I understand perhaps of his working style is that he remains a very grounded and humble man because he comes from the most lowest rung of the political growth that he has seen till today, because he comes from a very a village background, and he has been raised with the learnings and teachings of RSS. So therefore, he knows how politics at the ground level plays. So therefore, what I pick up is that he will be able to, take everybody together. As you can see, on the very first day, he has called a meeting of all the floor leaders to ensure that, they know who he is. They understand who the chairman of the upper house would be. They would have a greater rapport, to build a greater rapport so that they can, reach out to him at any point in time. He's very much reachable at any point in time. So therefore, because remember, to conduct smooth functioning, you need to be accessible, you need to be reachable. So therefore, if any parliamentarian, for that matter, has any problem, they can directly reach out to the Vice President or the Chairman, and he is accessible. So therefore, giving out that message that you are welcome at any point in time with any problem, I will listen to you, I will give you the solutions, but let the house function. So this is the message that we understand that he is trying to give out while he will be meeting today with all the floor leaders of the upper house.
All right. Thank you so much for all those updates, Dibendu. We leave it there. And time now, we are heading for a short break. You stay tuned to DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think All dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. And several NATO members are sending troops, artillery and air defense systems to secure its eastern flank after what Poland called an unprecedented Russian drone incursion into its airspace. Among the first ones is France, which will deploy 3 Rafale fighter jets to help Poland protect its airspace. Announcing the same, President Macron said Rafale fighter jets will contribute to the protection of Polish airspace and of NATO's eastern flank together with our allies. He added that the security of the European continent is our top priority. Macron stressed that NATO countries will not give in to Russia's increasing intimidation. Germany too said it would extend and expand its participation in NATO's air policing program to provide more cover to Polish airspace. Its defense ministry said it would double the number of Eurofighter jets deployed to 4 and extend their mission by 3 months to the end of the year. Czech too has said that it stands firmly with Poland. Lipavsky said on social media platform X, and I quote, "Russian drones in Poland are a pure provocation by the Kremlin. Czechia stands firmly with Poland. We will defend alliance territory." Meanwhile, Poland has requested a UN Security Council session about the incident. Members Slovenia, Denmark, Greece, France and Britain too asked the 15-member body to meet over the incident. The meeting will take place on Friday at 1900 GMT. Meanwhile, Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk urged NATO allies not to pretend nothing happened. Speaking to media after a National Security Council meeting, Tusk said Poland was certain Russia was behind the attack, something he said was uncomfortable for those pushing for normalization with Moscow. In fact, pushing for normalization with Moscow.
I don't think Russia is behind this provocation. We know it. However, I also understand that for all those who would like some kind of normalization, stabilization, some kind of policy of understanding with Russia, this situation is very uncomfortable. Because if what happened in the Polish skies on the night of September 10th is happening, it's hard to pretend that nothing happened. I hope that none of our allies will pretend that nothing happened, because it did happen. There have been unequivocal declarations of practical support for Poland. I heard this very clearly and unambiguously from the President of France, as well as the leaders of Great Britain, the Netherlands and Sweden.
Mam nadzieję, że nikt z naszych sojuszników nie będzie udawał.
Poland said 19 objects had entered its airspace during large Russian air attack on Ukraine and that it had shot down those posing a threat. Moscow denied responsibility for the incident, saying it had not planned to hit any targets in Poland. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar spoke to Deputy Prime Minister and counterpart Radoslaw Sikorski on Thursday. He shared his concern about recent developments pertaining to Poland's security. EAM Jaishankar underlined that India favors an early end to hostilities and a durable solution for the Ukraine conflict. US President Donald Trump, however, said Russia's drone incursion into Poland could have been a mistake.
Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake. But regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end.
Moving on to developments related to Israeli strikes on Qatar, which have been condemned by the UN Security Council on Thursday. The members called for de-escalation in the statement agreed to by all 15, including Israel's ally, the United States. The widely condemned Doha operation was especially sensitive because Qatar has been hosting and mediating negotiations aimed at securing a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas conflict. Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani also accused Israel of trying to derail efforts to end the war in Gaza by attacking Hamas leaders in Doha, but pledged to continue its mediation efforts.
We believe fully in mediation and the peaceful settlement of disputes, and Qatar's role is being appreciated worldwide. Our efforts have proven that our efforts in cooperation with the United States and Egypt has led to tangible results. It led to the release of 148 hostages. It has led to providing humanitarian aid to Gaza. It was a glimmer of hope, a rare glimmer of hope in this Gaza. But attacking our territories while we were busy with negotiations has uncovered the intention of Israel. It is trying to undermine any prospect of peace.
Qatari Prime Minister will also be visiting New York and Washington on Friday and is expected to meet US officials to discuss the Israeli strike and the status of ceasefire talks in Gaza. Reportedly, he is expected to see President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, the report added. Now, let's take you to Brazil, where former Brazil President Jair Bolsonaro has been sentenced to 27 years and 3 months in prison after being found guilty of plotting a military coup. A panel of 5 Supreme Court justices handed down the sentence just hours after they had convicted the former leader. They ruled he was guilty of leading a conspiracy aimed at keeping him in power after he lost the 2022 election to his left-wing rival, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. 4 of the justices found him guilty, while 1 voted to acquit him. Bolsonaro did not attend the trial, but has in past called it a witch hunt. He now faces the prospect of spending the rest of his life in prison. His lawyers are expected to argue that he should be kept under house arrest instead of being sent to jail, and will also plead for a lower sentence. However, they will not be able to appeal against the verdict itself, as that would only have been possible if 2 out of 5 justices had voted to acquit. Bolsonaro was found guilty of 5 charges, all relating to his attempt to cling to power after he was beaten in the 2022 election. South Sudan's first Vice President Riek Machar has been charged with murder, treason and crimes against humanity on Thursday for his alleged involvement in attacks by an ethnic militia against federal forces in March. Vice President Machar has been under house arrest since March in connection with the attacks by the White House Army militia in the northeastern town of Nasir. Justice Minister Gyan stated that 20 individuals, including former Petroleum Minister Puot Kang Chol, have been indicted, with 13 still on the run. The charges against Machar escalate a feud between country's 2 main political camps, the other led by President Salva Kiir. While international powers have repeatedly called for Machar's release, warning his detention could tip the country back into civil war. US investigators on Thursday released images of a person of interest in the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk and said they had found the bolt-action rifle believed to have been used in the politically charged killing. The shooter has not been publicly identified, and investigators have yet to publicly discuss any motive. But US President Donald Trump told reporters that he had an indication of the killer's motivation.
I'd rather not say. I think progress is being made. He's an animal, total animal. And hopefully they'll have him and they'll get him. What he did is disgraceful. Charlie Kirk was a great person, a great man, great in every way, especially with youth. And what he did, what this man did, was disgraceful. So hopefully we'll have him and we will deal with him very appropriately.
Investigators found a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a nearby wooded area and were examining that along with palm prints and footprints for clues. The FBI has offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to the killer's arrest and circulated images taken from security cameras showing a person of interest wearing a black top, black sunglasses and a dark baseball cap. Utah state officials called the person in the photos the potential shooter. US President Donald Trump and other officials paid tribute to slain right-wing activist Charlie Kirk on Thursday as the country marked the 24th anniversary of the September 11, 2001 attacks. Trump said at the beginning of his remarks at the Pentagon that Kirk was a giant of his generation and a champion of liberty. Trump announced that he would soon posthumously award Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the country's highest civilian honor. And authorities are continuing to investigate the cause of a gas truck explosion that led to a massive fire on a highway in southeast Mexico City on Wednesday. The tragedy has sparked concerns about industrial safety and emergency readiness in densely populated urban areas. President Claudia Sheinbaum called the event very tragic and stressed the importance of full investigation to prevent future incidents. She also confirmed that the responsible company has valid insurance and will provide support to the victims. The blast, which happened when the truck overturned near the Isdapalapa Chalco border, killed 8 people and injured at least 94, including 28 critically. The Cuban Energy and Mining Ministry stated on Thursday that 80% of the Havana had power and most of the country's energy grid had been re-established 24 hours after it crashed, leaving 9.7 million residents in the dark. The system has been in crisis for years and has an effective capacity of just under 2,000 megawatts and a national demand of over 3,000 megawatts. Even before Wednesday's collapse, the vast majority of residents were experiencing daily blackouts of 16 hours or more. The grid failure follows 4 nationwide blackouts since late last year. Former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa vacated his state-provided residence in Colombo 07 on Thursday afternoon. The move follows the passing of the President's Entitlements Repeal Act in Parliament on Wednesday, which abolishes lifetime housing allowances and other perks for ex-presidents and their spouses. The act was passed with 151 votes in favour and 1 against, stripping former presidents of state-provided benefits. Reportedly, Rajapaksa will relocate to his private home, Carlton House, in Hambantota, and former leaders Maithripala Sirisena and Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaranatunga will also be required to return state residences. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Stay with us for the latest on government formation in Nepal and how the Himalayan kingdom is grappling with political crisis. Aiming to strengthen Navy's information and communication infrastructure, the Indian Navy will commission INS Aravali. Indian Met Department issues nationwide rain alert.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Updates from Nepal now. Dialogue with Gen Z representatives, Nepali Army Chief and President of Nepal Ramchandra Paudel for appointing Prime Minister of Interim Government continued on Thursday. A decision on who will head the country remains eluded despite continuous dialogue for 2 days, held in the presence of former Chief Justice Sushila Karki and constitutional scholars. Also on Thursday night, President Paudel and Speaker met and stressed that in the current situation, solutions may be explored within the ambit of the Constitution. So the discussions on whether or not to dissolve the Parliament failed to reach a consensus. The discussion begins again today. Meanwhile, in the capital Kathmandu and other districts including Lalitpur and Bhaktapur, prohibitory orders are issued today. The curfew is issued from 7 a.m. of September 12, that is today, to 6 a.m. of September 13, that is Saturday. Essential services can be operated only by public and union organizations. To make the life of the people comfortable, places of daily consumables will remain open from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday. And DD India's Shweta Singh joins us with more from Kathmandu. Hi Shweta, what's the situation of where you are right now and the entire country? Also, what is the current status as far as the curfews are concerned?
Siddharth, you see, curfew is yet implemented in Kathmandu Valley here. Though government and other working bodies have requested their staff to come and offer basic essential services so that life is not disrupted completely here. And now the question arises here in Nepal, as there was so much of damage to buildings here, 5,000 or plus jobs have been lost. So now what further course of action will be taken? From where these people will be getting job? How will be they fed? So many questions this Nepal is grappling now. And you see, in the political direction, the no consensus have been able to reach by now, because first of all, Gen Z demanded that everything should be anew, completely new. But it's very difficult if everything starts from scratch. Who will lead different ministries, or how the daily function of different offices will happen if everything is starting from scratch. So it is difficult to decide now whether parliament has to be dissolved or not. And there is ongoing dialogue. And you see, Nepali army today morning have issued 8 different numbers across Nepal in all the provinces. As well in Bagmati, there is 2 numbers shared. That is for Kathmandu, Kavre, Palanchok, Kavre and Sindhupal Chowk. Another is for Chitwan and nearby places, where Gen Z can call, share their ideas, and tell whom they want to have a leader in the interim government. So see, it is yet ongoing process. So nothing final can be told right now, because there are so many different groups of Gen Z across Nepal that want to take lead. And it's not 10 or 20. There are so many. And everybody, because they are youth power, they are like very, very energetic, and everybody is showing like leadership quality. So it's really difficult to come to a common name or a consensus, and discussions are ongoing. And I think we have to wait for some more days. I would say, I wouldn't say today it will be dissolved and something will be some outcome will be coming today. Maybe it may take days, or it may happen today also, but we have to wait and watch.
Okay, Shweta, I want to ask you that did you have a word with Gen Zs there? It looks like that the Gen Zs are in fact divided, in some groups, different groups. This is the image that is coming here. Is it true? What are they saying?
Yes, Siddharth. You see, there are so many student leaders and former student leaders also. They are with maturity, they are saying that constitutional solution has to come out. Parliament need not be dissolved. We have to come with a solution amid all the spirit of constitution here. So it's a mixed feeling. Few Gen Z will say, no, it's like they are going again in wrong direction. How will they are doing the same thing again if parliament is not dissolved? So it's completely mixed. And definitely we cannot expect a lot of maturity from different groups right now, because the way damage was done in Nepal, it was clear indication that Gen Z is not mature to handle the future right now, because already severe damage have been done. Nepal have gone 5 to 6 years or more, a decade back, I would say, because to take everything anew, so many jobs lost, so many lives gone, young people have died, and definitely elderlies and so many other people have been hurt. So it's Nepal have gone years back. Okay. We have to wait and watch.
Okay. And how is the government planning to bring normalcy in this state, Shweta?
See, in different areas, till yesterday there was curfew in Pokhara, in Rupandehi, Dang, Morang, in Kathmandu as well. But today to control, because Kathmandu Valley is having highest population in Nepal, and its seat of ideas and ideology is changing. So main, you see, controlling Kathmandu Valley becomes more important, and that's the reason till September 13th, Saturday morning, curfew is implemented. Maybe Nepali army may again send us notice that it have been extended, because these notices are coming in time gaps. It's not that from it came on September 11th that till 13th will be. It is a day by day they are seeing the situation, and then they are implementing prohibitory orders and curfew. And even you see Supreme Court and Nepal Rashtra Bank, all are trying to bring things to normal back. They have even Nepal Rashtra Bank have urged financial bodies to give basic services, and digital payments have to be organized and allowed. So all these things they are trying. Every organization are playing their part trying to bring things to normal, but it is not easy. See, because Supreme Court building is burnt. All the banks have been, many banks have been looted. Rashtriya Banij Bank have been looted. So it's really difficult, but everybody is playing their part, trying to bring life back to normal. We can just wish and hope that everything comes to normal here, but we have to really wait and watch.
Definitely. What happens next remains to be seen. Thank you so much, Shweta. We leave it there. The 17th meeting of the India-France Joint Working Group on Counter-terrorism was held in Paris, France on 11th of September. The Indian delegation was led by Joint Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs of the Republic of India, K.D. Deval, and the French delegation led by French Counter-terrorism Ambassador Olivier Caron. Both sides condemned the dastardly terrorist attack on innocents on 22nd of April 2025 in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, India. The two sides exchanged views on the current threat assessment in the respective countries, including state-sponsored cross-border terrorism, activities of terrorists in the respective regions, and the terror threat in the Middle East. The discussion on bilateral and multilateral cooperation focused on intensifying capacity-building measures through training and exercises. The two sides further discussed broadening the scope of India-France dialogue to include organized crimes, combating online propaganda as a focused bilateral effort. The Indian Army successfully conducted exercise Siom Prahar, a major field training exercise from 8th of September to 10th of September. The exercise aimed at validating the employment of drone technology in modern tactical operations. The central focus of the exercise was the validation of tactics suited for future battlefields. Exercise Siom Prahar highlighted the Army's emphasis on leveraging advanced technology and fostering adaptability in modern warfare. It also underscored the importance of seamless integration between traditional combat arms and emerging technological enablers to boost operational effectiveness and ensure future readiness. In a significant step to enhance India's maritime security, the Indian Navy will commission INS Aravali at Gurugram today. Defence Ministry in a statement said that INS Aravali, named after the Aravali mountain range, is designed to strengthen the Navy's information and communication infrastructure. The crest of the base comprises central mountain imagery, perfectly symbolizing the unwavering and strong Aravali range, and the rising sun representing eternal vigilance, resilience and energy, in addition to the dawn of niche technological capabilities in the field of communications and MDA. Thus, the crest embodies the steadfast commitment of the base to facilitate eternal vigilance in order to defend India's maritime interests. The ceremony will be presided over by Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi. India's Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi delivered a lecture to the 65th NDC course and faculty on transformation of Indian Army and future warfare during his visit to the National Defence College in New Delhi on Thursday. The Chief of Army Staff emphasized the decisive role and interplay between soldiers, technology and non-kinetic warfare in future conflicts. He underlined the Indian Army's technological transformation and capability development journey driven by Atmanirbharta or self-reliance in achieving the national vision of Viksit Bharat or Developed India 2047. The 65th NDC course consists of 124 officers, including 44 officers from 32 friendly foreign countries. Weather-related updates now. A landslide hit Upper Rimbik in West Sikkim's Gyalching district at midnight, killing at least 4 people, with 3 from the same family. 1 woman died during treatment, while another remains critical. 3 people are still missing. Visuals are surfacing where police, locals and SSB teams could be seen building a temporary log bridge over the flooded nearby river to rescue survivors. Heavy rains are believed to have triggered the disaster. Rescue operations are ongoing as officials search for the missing and assess the damage. A small injured girl was rescued from the debris. Meanwhile, India's Met Department has issued a nationwide rain alert, including a yellow warning for the north interior regions. Although the southwest monsoon had weakened over the state in recent days, it is expected to intensify again. The IMD has forecast very heavy rainfall across most parts of north interior Karnataka till September 15. The IMD has also warned of heavy to very heavy rainfall today over the Marathwada region of Maharashtra. Similar persistent conditions are expected in the northeastern states of India. Thunderstorms accompanied by lightning and strong winds are likely in Tamil Nadu, West Bengal and Jammu and Kashmir. The IMD has advised residents to avoid unnecessary travel and take appropriate safety precautions. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Stocks rise, dollar falls as soft US jobs data fuels rate cut bets. Lakshya Sen to face Ayush Shetty in the quarterfinals of the Hong Kong Open Badminton tournament today. And Ocean Race Europe cruises through the fifth and final leg towards Montenegro's Boca Bay. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. President Donald Trump's administration on Thursday asked a federal appeals court to let Trump remove Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook for now. Trump moved to fire Cook in late August, but U.S. District Judge Gia Cobb on Tuesday temporarily blocked her removal. The Justice Department on Thursday asked the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals to pause that order, which would allow Cook's removal while she challenges her firing in court. Trump had accused Cook of mortgage fraud. The Department of Justice asked the appeals court to move quickly so that the president can remove her from her position before September 16-17 policy meeting. Cook's lawyers said removing her now could disrupt that meeting. On Wednesday, however, the D.C. Circuit blocked Trump from firing U.S. Copyright Office Director Shira Perlmutter while she appeals a lower court's refusal to reinstate her. MSCI's global equities gauge hit a record high on Thursday while U.S. Treasury yields fell along with the dollar due to growing expectations for interest rate cuts as softer labor market data overshadowed a higher than expected U.S. inflation reading. The consumer price index increased by 0.4% in August, the most in 7 months. The higher than expected claims numbers solidified expectations that the Federal Reserve will cut U.S. interest rates next Wednesday and increased bets for more cuts in October and December as well. In U.S. Treasuries, the yield on the benchmark 10-year Treasury note dipped below 4% a few times in the session, marking 5-month lows after the inflation and jobless claims data. In currencies, the dollar weakened against major currencies including the euro and the yen on the prospect of more rate cuts. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for sport, and India's top-ranked singles player Lakshya Sen will face compatriot Ayush Shetty in the quarterfinals of the Hong Kong Open on Friday. Lakshya Sen dug deep and battled past countryman H.S. Pranoy in pre-quarterfinals. Sen made a sluggish start, allowing Pranoy to dictate terms and pocket the opening game. He clawed back to win the second game and force a decider. The Indian player wrapped up the match with ease, earning his 6th win in 9 meetings against Pranoy, while Ayush Shetty, who is the only Indian to win a BWF Tour title this year with US Open crown, upset world number 9 Kodai Naraoka of Japan in the pre-quarterfinals. Two-time Olympian Sumit Nagal will spearhead the India's challenge against Switzerland in Davis Cup World Group 1 tie in Biel on Friday. Sumit Nagal, the country's top singles player, is joined by Arjun Shah and Dakshineshwar Suresh in the squad. And Sriram Balaji and Rithvik Bolipalli are specialists for the doubles rubber, while Rohit Rajpal is non-playing captain of the squad. The opening day will see 2 singles matches followed by a doubles match and 2 reverse singles on the second day. Every match will be played as best of 3 sets. The winner of the tie will advance to the 2026 qualifiers first round, while the losing nation will be relegated to the 2026 World Cup 1 playoffs. India is yet to win the Davis Cup but has finished runners-up on 3 occasions in 1966, 1974 and 1987. World Chess champion D. Gukesh suffered his 3rd successive loss at the FIDE Grand Swiss tournament in Uzbekistan. The Indian Grandmaster lost to 16-year-old Turkish Grandmaster Edes Gürel in the 7th round. The 19-year-old blundered his bishop towards the end of the game to extend his losing streak. Earlier, Gukesh had lost to Abhimanyu Mishra of the United States and Nicholas Theodorou of Greece in the lead-up to the game. Gukesh has 3 points from 7 outings and needs to win all of the matches to stay in contention. The European soccer's governing body, the Union of European Football Associations, announced that Madrid and Warsaw will host 2027 Men's and Women's Champions League finals respectively. The UEFA also announced that its Super Cup match next year will take place in Salzburg city of Austria, while the 2026 Men's Champions League final will be held in Budapest and the Women's Showpiece match will take place in Oslo. The governing body did not take a decision on requests from Spanish Football League, La Liga, and Italy Football League, Serie A, to play a league match abroad. The UEFA said it would consult all stakeholders, including fans, before making decisions. Pakistan will begin their T20 Asia Cup campaign against Oman in Dubai on Friday. Pakistan will be led by Salman Agha and their recent form has been impressive. Pakistan won a 3-nation T20 international series involving the United Arab Emirates and Afghanistan. They also beat West Indies 2-1 in a 3-match series. On the other hand, most of the established players of Oman are not with the team due to pay dispute. The last played 3 T20 international matches in February against the United States, which they lost. Pakistan team is likely to treat this game as a warm-up against the bigger challenge against India on Sunday. Bangladesh got off to a winning start in the Asia Cup as they clinched a 7-wicket victory over Hong Kong in their first match in Abu Dhabi. Electing to bowl first, Bangladesh rattled the opposition's top order by removing Anshuman Rath and Baba Hayat cheaply. Zishan Ali fought back with a steady 30 runs while skipper Yasim Murtaza scored 28. However, regular breakthroughs in Bangladesh's disciplined bowling restricted Hong Kong to a modest 143 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. Chasing 144 for win, skipper Liton Das crafted a well-paced 59 runs and put on a decisive 95-run stand with Tawheed Ridoy for the 3rd wicket to seal the victory. In view of the record high temperatures and humidity, the marathon and 35-kilometer race walk events at the World Athletics Championships, which is scheduled from 13 to 21st September, will start 30 minutes earlier than scheduled in a bid to beat the Tokyo heat. The events, originally scheduled to start at 8 a.m. local time, will now start at 7:30 a.m. Like many countries, Japan has been hit by extreme weather this year, with temperatures in Tokyo averaging 33 degrees Celsius so far this month, on its way to setting a record high for September. The CEO of the Tokyo 2025 Local Organizing Committee announced measures to address concerns about high temperatures. These include tents at the warm-up area to lower the perceived temperature by 10 to 20 degrees Celsius and wearable devices for staff to monitor body temperature. The offshore yacht race Ocean Race Europe fleet is cruising through the 5th and final leg towards Boca Bay, Montenegro. Departed from Genoa, Italy on Sunday, they are now heading east towards Sicily after passing near the Italian island of Pantelleria. Held under the banner of Connecting Europe, the race stretches from the Baltic Sea through the North Sea and English Channel into the Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean before a finish in Boca Bay, Montenegro, the first time the ocean race will compete on the Adriatic Sea. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.